Views and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the staff or management of the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast.
Well, hello there, and thanks for being here. I'm John Engelman, and this is the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas podcast. We've got a fun one today. We're at Bocca in Fayetteville talking with co-owner Mike Rohrbach and executive chef and general manager John Harpool. But before we hear from them... Good news. Yeah, man, you've been hearing about this place for a while, and the time's finally come as Bonchon and Rogers will have their silent opening tonight. Now, for those that don't know, Bonchon is a Korean fried chicken restaurant. So here's the deal for tonight. There's no list for the soft opening. It's first come, first served, so get there early. They're on Green Acres Road by Boulder Coffee. Hey, Rogers is getting a new steakhouse nestled atop the brand new Hotel Avail in Pinnacle Hills, and it's called the Oak Steakhouse. According to their website, the menu will feature timeless steakhouse classics, elevated small plates, and vegetable-forward entrees with a thoughtfully curated wine list, cocktail program, and local brews. It's got a stunning outdoor patio overlooking Pinnacle Hills, and they open Friday. Go to oaksteakhouse.com to make your reservation. Last week, we told you that Queen's Donuts on MLK in Fayetteville looked ready to open. We just didn't know when they would. Now we do. They open tomorrow, Thursday, June 26th. Now remember, they open at 4:30 a.m., so there may not be a line, but there may be. They do close at 2:30. Congrats to Black Apple Hard Cider in Springdale. This Sunday, June the 27th, will be their 10-year anniversary. One of the OGs in downtown Springdale and the fourth-ranked cidery in the nation will kick things off at 5 p.m. Go check out their new summer drink menu. It is delish. There's been some scuttlebutt about a new brewery and restaurant that's currently being built out in Lowell. The Fermentary Public House will focus on local sourcing and freshness. Owners Larry McAllister and Jennifer Muckerman both have a background in brewing beer. They're about 3 to 4 weeks away from their grand opening, give or take. Muckerman tells us about the location.
Well, Lowell was a unique area, and there is nothing like this here in Lowell. And then we were surrounded by, this location in particular was really surrounded by a lot of big businesses. You know, you've got the state police right there, FedEx is really close, JB Hunt, and then a lot of subdivisions. So we figured, that we could get a good lunch crowd as well as a good dinner crowd here.
This one came out yesterday. The Botanical family is growing, this time in Fayetteville. Of course, they have the Botanical at 8th and A in Bentonville. They have the Botanical City Pump in downtown Rogers. And at the end of June, the Kava Bar and Club 509 in Fayetteville will officially be Botanical Live. Big congrats to Raj, Alex, and Alan. It was announced in the Fayetteville Flyer last week that King Burrito would be moving into the former Queen's Mexican cuisine space at Nelson's Crossing in Fayetteville. This one will be called King Burrito Grill and Cantina. Renovations are ongoing and no date has been given for their grand opening. Mike Rohrbach was working away as co-owner of Flying Burrito and had no plans to open an authentic Italian restaurant. Enter his food salesman, Keith Burmylo, who had different plans for himself and Rohrbach. You'll hear how that materialized, and it was not quick. How about executive chef John Harpool? He got into food almost accidentally when he was back home one summer from the U of A. You'll hear what prompted him. Incidentally, it made him a very popular roommate in college as well. You'll hear about his first food job and what propelled him into being the top dog in the kitchen and the front of house at Bocca. We talked to co-owner Mike Rohrbach and executive chef general manager John Harpool, and that's next right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org.
And welcome back to the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas. We are at Bocca in Fayetteville. As I turn my ears up here a little bit, Mike Rohrbach, co-owner, welcome.
Thank you.
John Harpool, chef, executive chef, general manager. Did I get it all?
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Guys, thanks for your time. I appreciate you doing this.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I want to start off the beginning with you, Mike. Where are you from? What is your professional background? And what the heck got you into this business?
I grew up in Illinois.
Okay.
And came to school down here in the 80s and just stayed.
That happens a lot.
Much nicer than wasn't much of a college student. I tried for a long
hand
time
up here too.
and ended up working in some restaurants. Years ago in the early 90s.
Tell me, which ones?
Kirby's Grill and Bakery,
Sure.
Hofbrau.
Oh, the old Hofbrau.
Yeah, the Ozark Brewing Company. And then got married and had kids and said, I need to do something different. Grow up a little bit. And so I opened the Flying Burrito Company with another guy back in 2003. Yeah.
Get the historian over here to our right.
And, and then so we opened here 10 years ago.
Okay.
My partner, Keith Burmylo, and I. And he was our food rep at the Flying Burrito.
Okay.
And he kept coming by and saying, he's from Philadelphia. And he said, I just need a place to go buy a slice of pizza. And I just need a little tiny little spot to go buy a slice. And I just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Easy peasy, right?
Yeah. And he kept coming by for like a year and a half. And I said, just do it.
Quit talking about it and do it.
And one day he said, do you want to do it with me? And I said, well, all right. And so I called my wife. And I was like, hey, you want to do this? She goes, sure, why not? It's kind of
very fly by night.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're selling yourself short here. I don't believe a lot of that.
No, that's how we got with him.
Okay.
We'd known him for a while. He used to be the chef at Emilio's years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd eaten some of his food before, and he said, all right, well, come over on Sunday. This was like Tuesday that week, and we'll have dinner. So, okay. So we come over, and he made some pappardelle, the ragu. And I said, holy crap, this is really good.
Yeah.
I said, no one else serves this around here. And so we had a bunch of dishes and just ate for hours. And so
you went home full is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
That was a good night.
It was, yeah. It was nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you guys, I guess I want to get to the Backyard Burgers location. How did you think about fitting this place into here? Because I mean, obviously, you had the vision, or did you? Did it come along and you thought, let's do this, let's do that?
Yeah, well, we looked at a few different places, and we didn't want something really big. We wanted it kind of small and homey.
Okay.
And this just kind of fit. What we thought we just needed it small. We had a nice patio out there. We could build that out. Put a roof on it, and it just kind of happened. And some people were like, wait, that's a Backyard Burger. I was like, well, it's not anymore.
I remember.
It's okay.
I was here then. I remember.
Things change. So
I thought
we came in and started gutting it, and had a lot of fun doing that. So
now, was it like one of those home improvement TV shows where you come in and do the demo yourself?
We did a lot of that ourselves. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, get the frustrations out.
Yep. Yeah. There were certain things that we couldn't do. You got to have your electrician, you got your plumber, you got the guys with the steel work and all that stuff.
Sure.
But mostly we did it all ourselves.
Gosh, a long time ago.
Yes.
What was it, 2015, 2014?
2015. We opened December, I think the 28th of December 2015.
Okay. Yeah. So now I know you mentioned the pappardelle ragu plate, but an Italian place in Fayetteville, not necessarily a different thing. How did you differentiate? What was the idea behind that?
Of differentiating between others?
Sure.
I don't think there was anyone in town that was making their own pasta at the time.
Okay.
Our menu was pretty simple. It's all fresh stuff, but it's a pretty simple menu.
Okay.
We added steaks about 2 weeks in, maybe.
Okay.
Keith and I had bought a case of rib roasts for Christmas.
Okay.
And I had some family in town, and I cooked mine for Christmas, and he forgot his, and I was like, oh crap, look at that. So one Friday night, he said, hey, let's just cook these ribeyes. And cut them up and threw them in the oven. Well, we didn't have any knives. We didn't have any steak knives. And we were like, okay, and it's Friday night. And I'm like, well,
you guys are jamming?
We'll just slice it. We'll just slice the ribeye and serve it
Okay.
already sliced. And
Sure.
then they can take a butter knife and cut the rest of it.
So did you have that like as a special?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was and so ever since then, we've had steaks
sold
just
out,
about
just like
every
that.
just about every time.
Yeah.
And we do fillets now.
It's great.
We'll do ribeyes every once in a while,
Sure.
but it's mainly fillets.
Well, we'll talk specifically about food in the next
Yeah.
segment. But
Yeah.
interesting. Very cool. So, John Harpool, the executive chef, general manager, Swiss Army knife, maybe?
Something like that.
Something like
Yeah.
that. How did you, now you went to, you're originally from Little Rock,
Yes, sir.
and you went to the U of A.
I did. Followed a pretty typical trajectory for a Little Rock kid. Came up to Fayetteville to go to the U of A.
Sure.
Got my degree in English. Really, by about my junior year, I knew that there was probably not going to be much use out of that. And so over my time in college, just cooking just became an obsessive hobby that just kind of continued to grow.
So explain that. I mean, would it be like Friday night, everyone comes to John's place?
Yeah, I was kind of like the ultimate frat boy chef, like cooked for tailgates, constantly having people strongly suggest that I make certain things, and then a group of people would be over. Really, that junior year of college when I finally was living off campus in a house and had a kitchen, it kind of just blew up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't uncommon for a group of people to be over for food.
So where did you learn how to cook, though?
I mean, growing up, like we did have home cooked meals. Didn't eat out very much at all. Came from a big family. I was one of 5 kids.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
eating out was a pretty rare thing, unless it was something cheap and fast. So like, I guess the skills were always there because we kind of had to fend for ourselves to a degree.
Okay.
With both parents working and there being a lot of us. So
Gotcha.
from a young age, I could always, fry an egg and cook a burger and simple stuff like that.
Sure.
But yeah, it was really the summer after my freshman year of college. I went back for one summer in Little Rock, and I had like 4 or 5 weeks before my summer job started, and it was just my mom and my little sister in the house at the time. And I asked them what they were thinking for dinner, and they told me that with the two of them, they might bake a potato or fry an egg and kind of just call it dinner. And after a year of eating cafeteria food, it wasn't working for me.
Sure.
So I just started planning all these extravagant meals that at the time I had no idea what I was doing. I was looking up recipes and trying and failing at different things. So for those first 4 or 5 weeks, I just made dinner every night and started to really, really enjoy it.
So, I mean, were you looking for recipes online and then going shopping, or how did this work? Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. It was every day I'd decide something new that we were going to do that day, and then my mom lives right down the street from a Kroger's food store.
Sure.
So just pop over there and grab what I need and have at it. Was making my own pasta from scratch, grilling and smoking things, trying my hand at pizza, which I didn't know would come in handy later.
Right.
But, just stuff that was way above my previous cooking experiences. But I mean, worst thing I could do is suck at it the first try.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, everybody sucks at everything first try usually, so I hear you.
yeah.
So, where did that take you? I mean, is that the summer you decided, okay, this is what I'm going to end up doing?
It was kind of solidified when I got back to school. And then really that junior year, having a house with a kitchen and being able to go back to making all my meals again.
Yeah. I bet you had people banging down your door to be your roommate at that point.
Yeah, kind of. There was, we groceries would constantly go missing from the fridge. Let's just say that. But
I hear you.
But yeah, and then I was working a retail job on the side, just making money while in school.
Sure.
And I was nervous to take the plunge into restaurants, not only just like the hours and the strenuousness of it, trying to do that in school, but I was scared. I was like, maybe it is just a hobby and I won't enjoy it. So
Sure.
I took the safest dip in the pool I could, and I found a internship that Chartwell's was doing through the campus. So I was the culinary intern for Chartwell's, which they do all the food concepts for the entire U of A campus.
Oh, so it's like catering.
Yeah, catering and the food halls, and then all of
I got you.
all of their fast casual concepts and everything like that's in the union and whatnot. So they oversee all that.
Okay.
So I did that, and I kind of I just got shoved in a food hall. Ironically, the exact same food hall I ate all my meals at freshman year.
So you knew your way around.
But it was
sheet pan. You know what a sheet pan was.
But it was my that was my first taste of a professional kitchen.
Okay.
And I liked it. I excelled at it, and then I was kind of itching to get a taste of what I considered to be closer to the real thing.
Sure.
Working the line in a restaurant on a busy night, you know.
It's funny when I talk to people, sometimes I hear them say, "I was afraid I was going to like it."
Yeah.
Because then you know you're in, and that's what it is. So what was that first taste of busy Friday night, getting in the weeds?
It was here at Bocca.
Okay.
Yeah, I applied around town at a few places, and had a couple buddies that I knew that cooked around town or had cooked around town.
Sure.
Put in a word for me, and was lucky enough to get offered a job here and the garde manger, so just handling cold appetizers, salads, desserts, you know, recipe driven and still organization and technique, but they didn't let me do too many hot things, so I couldn't really mess anything up too fast.
So what was that like, getting that job and doing that and getting through your first couple of rushes and surviving?
I liked it. There's definitely like a weird type of addictive adrenaline to like coming out the end of a really busy service.
Heck yeah.
And being part of kind of the mechanism of the kitchen, and when all the systems fall into place and you come out the other side, that's what you were talking about, the people that get in it and they're like, oh, I like this. That's a very real thing.
It's adrenaline.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It's adrenaline junkie-ing. And, you know, I'd waited tables on the other side before, and I've gotten triple sat, and I'm like, oh, crap, here we go, you know?
Yeah.
We've all...
I got to figure this out.
Yeah, you got to damage control real quick, and, you know, that's when you kind of rely on yourself because you're about to hit the kitchen as well, and they're not going to like you at that point either. So, been there. I get it. So, you worked your way up, and then you left elsewhere.
Yeah, so I worked my way through the kitchen here, learning all the other stations. Then about 6 months after I started here, I got bumped up to sous chef. Did that for about a year.
That's big.
It was, and it was a lot very quickly.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it and liked
adrenaline junkie.
Liked being the guy when the other head guy wasn't here. So. Then right around that time, I had one of my good buddies, Jay, who actually was a server bartender here at one point and worked at our Rogers location. He was in my ear. Hey, my uncle's got a food trailer he's not doing anything with. Hey, my uncle's got a food trailer he's not doing anything with. Okay, let's go look at it.
This is a constant hammering, right?
Let's go look at it. And
it's like, I can't find a good place to get a good slice around here.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing,
Jay's
right?
a very persistent guy.
Okay.
He really is.
All right.
Yeah, he gets an idea in his head. And
perfect.
You can't tell him he shouldn't do it. So,
right.
We kind of same way they took to gutting the backyard burger. We got in there and tore it up and spent about 9 months building it up how we wanted to the best of our abilities. We were two dumb 23-year-olds that didn't know anything about power tools.
Well, and it's expensive, man.
Yeah, the fortunate part was that it was Jay's uncle, and he basically said, "Fix it up, do what you want with it. If you decide to sell it at the end of it, give me a slice of what I initially paid back, and we'll call it good." So it was a pretty rare opportunity.
Oh.
So we gambled a little bit, probably still more than we should have at that age, but it wasn't like it was going to ruin us if something went wrong.
Sure.
So we did that.
What was it? What was the food?
So it was basically started as just kind of like a basic eclectic sandwich truck.
Oh, all right.
So there were like some classics, like we'd have like chicken bacon ranch club or something like that, but then we'd kind of play around with different cuisines. So there'd be a banh mi on the menu.
Oh.
We'd do a pork and broccoli rabe sandwich, which is a Philly special.
Interesting.
I actually tried for the first time hanging out with Keith, and our then manager at the time, his nephew Andrew, would always rave on and on about these pork sandwiches from Philly. So kind of just took a stab at it, did my own interpretation of it.
Nice.
And stuff like that. And then we'd play around a little bit and do like special featured weekends where we'd do different menus and stuff, especially if we were parked somewhere for an extended period of time.
great. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun time. It was a lot of work. We were still both maintaining day jobs and doing that at the same time.
Oh, this is why you were here.
Yeah, I was kind of just switched to like a prep role here.
Okay.
But I was still here from typically about like 9 to 5 days a week, and then would go do my other prep and then work somewhere that night.
Brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's good you were young.
Yeah. It's not right. It wouldn't happen right now. No.
You're still young.
Yeah.
Not that young.
Yeah.
So you end up finding your way back here.
Did. So we did that, the truck for a while off and on, and then kind of got to the seasonal part of the year where, it's cold out. And aside from booked gigs, we weren't regularly opening somewhere. Nobody wanted to walk up to a window and eat food outside,
Right.
So I was looking around for a seasonal job, and right about the time I was starting to explore, I get a call from Keith and asked me if I want to go up and work at the Rogers location as their sous chef.
Okay.
So I went up and did that. But I was only there for about 6 weeks, and the executive job opened up down here, and I said, "Put me in, coach," I think were my exact words, and I was back here where I liked it, and then I was happy to be back here where I started.
Excellent. What year was that? How long ago was that?
I took executive chef in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
19.
I was going to say, so not too long ago, but then I think, and that's 6 years ago.
Yep.
God almighty.
Yeah.
So,
a couple things happened between those.
Yeah, just a little. A little. A little COVID. That's, that was, restaurants handled that well. They all did, right? Gosh, I don't even think about it. Okay, so you're back here as the executive. When did you take over the GM spot?
That fun little thing we talked about, COVID, happened.
I see.
And two of our guys that were running the front of the house decided that was their time to part ways for different reasons.
Sure.
One of them had a wife that was immunocompromised, so he didn't need to be in this business around all these people while that was going on.
I get it.
Obviously, we completely understood that. And then the other one just took it as an opportunity to move to something closer to where they were living and his wife was working. So
Gotcha.
Came out the other side of it. I mean, when this happened, it was the four of us working in the back. It was Mike, Keith, me, and my sous chef at the time, and then their sons rotating who was washing dishes. So coming out the end, we didn't really know what coming out of COVID would look like.
No one did.
So I kind of just took the reins and started running both sides and kind of just ran with it.
Look, man, I'm just happy to get a haircut at a haircut place finally,
Yeah.
Enough about that. Well, good. You had mentioned the Rogers location. How long had you been here before you opened in Rogers?
A little over 2 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And
you just think bigger and better.
Sure.
And you can just double everything.
Yeah, man.
It's just going to be great.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
And then you open it and you're like, oh, that's great. And then all of a sudden, well, it's not doing.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And
So how long were you guys open there?
about 3.5 years.
Okay.
We
All right.
closed shortly after we reopened after COVID hit.
Yeah.
And coming out of that, but then you could only have like 14 tables in the whole place.
Sure.
So they had to be 6 or 8 feet apart,
Oh, my gosh.
whatever those restrictions were. And Mrs. Hunt was our landlord.
Okay.
She owns all that stuff up there,
Yeah.
pretty much.
You bet.
And one of her guys said, "Hey, you guys want out?" And she pretty much let us out of our lease. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
She pretty much let us out of our lease.
Well, that's nice of her.
I mean, we
Like, night.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And it was the nicest thing. I mean,
That's
no one ever
great.
does anything like
No.
that. I asked different landlords of different places I rent when COVID started, like, hey, can I stop? I'm closed down.
Sure.
Can I
Yeah.
stop paying you for right now, and then I'll double that once. Pay it. I'll pay it back. I've been paying you this for 10 years.
Sure.
No, we can't do
Doesn't
that.
work that way.
No, we can't do that.
Yeah.
well, shit, we're closed. So we were like a bar down Kingfish down off Dixon Street, and there was nothing going on there.
Of course.
Just
Yeah.
keep sending it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys do? I'm assuming you guys did a to-go menu out of here during then.
We did.
Yeah.
We had a smaller menu.
Yeah. Or did you do drive-through?
No, our pizza oven is right in the way. No, it's funny. People will pull up there because we park over there now, and they think that it's the line for the drive-through.
That's great.
Sometimes you go out back door and you're like, is there something wrong? And I was like, no, what? I was just waiting to get in the drive-through, and it's like, oh no, and
You're gonna
they've
wait a
been
long
sitting
time.
out there for a long time, and there's no one in those cars. They're just parked right there. Kind of funny, but our pizza oven is right where the drive-through window
Gotcha.
was.
Well, you got to have the pizza oven.
Yeah.
Speaking of the pizza oven, let's talk pizza and let's talk other food next. You guys ready?
Sure.
We got that, the Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week, and that's coming up next right here on the Flavors of Northwest Arkansas.
Connect with us at Flavors of Northwest Arkansas on Facebook and Instagram, or by email at flavorsofnwa@gmail.com.
And it is now time for the Mike Engelman Home Pro Tip of the Week, and for that we go to Chef John. Sir, what do you have?
My pro tip for the week would have to be utilizing the magic of wines and stocks in home cooking. Everybody, for the most part, maybe has that glass of wine left in the bottom of a bottle that didn't get drank, whether it's red or white. It just sat on the counter and went bad. That, with a combination of a $2.25 carton of chicken or beef stock from the store, can transform just about any meal from a 9.2 to a 9.8. And I would say in pastas and rice, in place that you would use water, swap that for maybe a little splash of wine and a flavored stock. You can get the low sodium, so you can still control the salt in it and have total control over the end flavor. You're just going to end up with a much more rich and broader depth of flavor in almost anything you would typically use water for.
What a beautiful tip.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
And you'll have to open another bottle of wine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's...
Because you don't have any open. Of
course.
There you go. The great follow. It's Batman and Robin over here. We'll be right back.
Your story doesn't have to end. As an organ donor, the good in you can live on. In fact, you can save up to 8 lives through organ donation. Sign up to give the gift of life after you're gone. You'll be happy you did. Just maybe, someone else will too. Sign up online today as an organ, eye, and tissue donor at organdonor.gov. It saves lives.
Let me show you something.
I got very lucky. In January of 2022, I got that call saying that I had a kidney waiting for me in Dallas. We packed for 6 weeks in 30 minutes. My wife, we were putting dirty clothes in trash bags. That's how much time we had to get down there. She was a superhero, by the way. She's a 4th grade teacher, and she was just slamming everything into trash bags. We're like, let's go. So we did that. We drove overnight. I don't remember the drive at all. It was just us and 18-wheelers. My adrenaline was just pumping, but I had a 3:30 in the morning match that I had to go do at the hospital in Dallas, and which gave us 30 minutes to pack and get down there. But it was all because someone registered to be an organ donor upon their untimely demise. Organdonor.gov is where you go to do it. You can also register through the Health app on your iPhone, or Department of Finance here in Arkansas. If you're outside of the state, of course, you can do it at your DMV. You can do it in all 50 states. Let them know that you want to be an organ donor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're back. Guys, you ready to talk food?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Let's do it. I want to start with this. I love pizza. I love pizza, but I've never had it here. And I think you guys know why. Because every time I come here, except for 1 or 2 times, I always love getting their pappardella, which is so good. It's unique, I think, to the area. And I always end up getting it here. I think once I did get a steak that we were talking about, whatever the special was that night. I looked at it and I thought, okay, I did this for about 5-10 minutes trying to figure out which one to do. We were sitting at the bar. I can tell you, we were sitting at the bar, and the bartender's like, "You guys ready? Oh, I need another few minutes. You guys ready? Oh, I need another few minutes." It was one of those. It was one of the ping pongs. I know they're sick of it. Like, this guy's eating time up here at the bar when there's a line outside, and he's not ordering anything but drinks. Anyway, short story long, I always end up getting the pappardelle. Please tell me about it.
So it's funny you mentioned both of those dishes, because part of what makes the pappardelle ragu so good is that fact that we carry those steak specials, because the meat that goes into the braise for that tomato sauce is pork shoulder, and then all of the trimmings and end cuts from our aged tenderloins that we serve for our steak special. Perfect. So we're getting USDA prime stew meat, basically, which is not something everybody gets to do. And so it carries a lot more flavor and tenderness than, just that chuck roast you would typically put in something like that.
Sure.
That, with the combination of time, letting it go low and slow, making sure that meat gets nice and tender, and then, like with all of our tomato sauces, really, really good San Marzano style tomatoes.
Yeah, man. For sure. I get that. It's got to be popular, right? I would assume.
It's been on the menu the entire time we've been open for a reason.
Yeah.
My wife and I, when we come here, it's kind of like we have a problem with the Italian bread and roasted garlic. It's like chips and salsa. We can't stop.
Bring me some more.
I know. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Every time. You guys have to have like full-time garlic roasters back there or something.
That should be your PSA, because the newbies to Bocca, they don't understand the magic of the roasted garlic.
That's ridiculous
right away. Sometimes so I see more come back in the ramekin than I think the garlic deserves. But
really,
once we get people in here a couple times, and they look at it and they realize that bread with the warm butter and that garlic clove smashed across it, it's special.
We eat a baseball bat of that bread with the garlic. I mean, it's just not productive. Since you guys have opened, you've made your own pasta. Tell me about that.
We do a pretty basic blended pasta, whole eggs, semolina flour,
Sure.
and then blended with a high gluten flour. It's also the same we use for our pizza dough. We have been lucky enough to upgrade over the years to some pretty incredible equipment. We have an awesome imported pasta machine back there.
Nice.
That it wouldn't be possible without it.
We started with a KitchenAid when we first opened.
Well, I mean, of course.
The one you buy over here.
Yeah,
at Target.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it's just...
And
it was a nightmare.
Get here at 6 a.m. to start for dinner.
The times that the nice machine has been down, we've gone back to the KitchenAid, and I don't wish that on anybody. But yeah, so we're able to knock out about 9-pound batches of pasta in incredible time back there.
Wow.
And we make a pretty good variety. We have 5 different shapes or cuts of pasta on the menu right now, not including raviolis. Yeah, without that machine, pasta production would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
But we're able to deliver really good, high-quality, house-made product, and we're able to do it for a large amount of people, so it's great.
And speaking of which, I forgot to mention what my wife gets. She always gets the lasagna. Which one was it?
The bolognese.
Yes, the bolognese. That is her thing. And usually when we go eat together, she'll say, "Oh," or I'll say, "Hey, you want to try some of mine?" Or she'll say, "Hey, you want to try some of mine?" I just take a bite of hers. I don't even, especially if it's that, I'm like, "Yeah, excuse me." Reach over and get a big forkful, and
there you go.
As I'm sitting here with my big plate of pappardelle, of course.
Surely she can't eat all of it.
I know.
No way.
It's my duty of being a helpful husband.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was in the vows, right?
Uh-huh.
Of course.
I'm with you. I'm in the new team.
So, yes, fettuccine lobster Americaine sounds really, really good. Tell me about it.
It is good. This was kind of a riff on something I saw on a social media post of another restaurant somewhere in the Northeast. So lobster Americaine is an old kind of New England soup. It's like a riff on lobster bisque, basically.
Okay.
So instead of the sherry and the lobster bisque, you've got the brandy and the Americaine. So this is just like basically what if I took the flavors of that soup and kind of reduced it down a little bit and emulsified it and made it into a pasta sauce. So
Interesting.
make our lobster stock in-house. So we'll bring in the bodies and the shells of the lobster, mix those with a bunch of vegetables and wine and water, and let those just simmer away and strain all the good stuff out. And then, just a little bit of flambéed brandy and a little touch of cream. It's called a cream sauce, but it's not very heavy. It still eats very light, and that seafood really carries through.
Yum.
And then 5 ounces of beautiful claw and knuckle and tail meat from the lobster in there.
Yum. And these are things I'll never have because, whenever I come here.
You're a creature of habit. You just have one. You can't jump off.
I've said this before, and people that listen every week are going to be like, oh, here we go. I'm working so hard to variate on menus, try something different here that I've not had, try something different there that I've not had. I don't know, man. When I come here, I've got to have the pappardelle. I mean, I don't even really look at the menu anymore, but I will see the special board when it's up there. But yeah, I'm just not very good at that here, per se. Because, I mean, I know it'll be good, but it's also not that.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah. And when I think of this place, I think of that.
Yeah. It sounds like you just need to come with a group and just eat off everybody's plate.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Seats,
That's right. That's not a bad idea. I'll consider, that's not bad. That's pretty smart. Shrimp and crab ravioli, speaking of.
Yeah, so we were toying with that around. We added a few new menu items to the menu this fall, and that was one of them we played with in a couple of different forms. We talked about a cannelloni at one point, and then eventually landed. We got an amazing ravioli machine back there that hooks up to our awesome pasta machine, so we like to take advantage of it as much as possible. And of course, who doesn't see a place with house-made raviolis with custom fillings and stuff? You know the work that's going into it. So, so we're just playing around with the idea. It's good Gulf white shrimp with some blue crab that just gets shredded up, and mix that with a little ricotta cheese and a couple other seasoning, and then we pump those into a spinach infused pasta. So they're a cute little bright green color, and they really pop through that spicy lemon cream sauce that we serve it with.
It sounds cute.
It is.
It sounds amazing is what it sounds like. Chicken piccata. Now, that's at a lot of places. I'd love to get your take on the chicken piccata.
It's funny because some things on the menu that were just so second nature to, like, Keith when he put the menu together. Like, I could count on one hand the amount of Arkansas Italian restaurants I've been to that had not only a chicken piccata but a good chicken piccata.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was familiar with the flavors and knew what it was about, but I got here and I tasted it and I was like, something's different with that. And it's just the simplicity of it more than anything. It's you use a good piece of chicken, you make good homemade pasta, and then you kind of just get out of the way of the rest of it. Like most of our dishes, like the piccata, that's been one of our crowd favorites for all 10 years.
Wow.
It's it's a 4-ingredient sauce. And you don't need anything more than that. You don't need anything less. You emulsify the sauce correctly. It has good flavor, has beautiful texture. You kind of let it speak for itself.
Outstanding. Tell me about desserts and desserts here. I looked on the menu, didn't see it, but I think I've had desserts here before.
Yeah, we kind of just do a spoken server shared dessert menu. And we'll do different special things from time to time. Like I really like to play around with like olive oil cakes and stuff like that, using seasonal stuff for them. But if you come here every single day, 2 things you will get is our house-made tiramisu.
Yum.
That is Keith's recipe that he's been using for 30, 25 years. Yeah. I've said this before, it's the one thing on the menu I would never even think of touching.
Sure.
Not only because people like it so much, but I don't think I could do it better.
There you go.
It's just delicious.
There you go.
And then we've always had a cheesecake, but then when I took over in 2019, I switched the format of it to where we brulee the top of it and then drizzle a salted caramel on it. And
wow.
Nobody will let me do anything else with it, so that's just what we're sticking with for now.
Yeah, it's like piccata sauce. Just leave it alone.
We don't want to revolt.
Get out of your own way.
Yeah, that's right. I've had the tiramisu here, actually, and it obviously tastes and looks fresh. But that is one dessert you can easily tell when it's not made fresh.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, you can tell quickly. If you go somewhere and you look at the residue at the bottom, once you're done, you're like, okay, this one's been in the fridge for a few days, 3, 4, 5 days. Yeah, then that's not good.
What's this slight hint of aluminum I'm tasting?
Slight. Let's talk a little bit about the cocktail menu. Is that seasonal?
Yeah, so we do. It was one thing that came post COVID. We gave ourselves a little bit of time to settle back in. Mm-hmm. I think we were all just trying to keep our head above water for a little bit.
Get your training wheels back on for a minute.
And then it was kind of sunk in that I was like, oh, this is kind of my realm now, and we hadn't touched it in a while, so it's like we need to get together and brainstorm some ideas. And that was a big learning curve for me because I like cocktails, I like wine, and do I know much about them? No, but I can learn.
There you go.
So yeah, we do 2 cocktail changes a year. So we try to do a fall-winter menu and a spring-summer menu.
Okay.
And those will roll out typically about like April and October of each year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Outstanding. I will tell you that I always get either the Sangiovese or the Toscana when I come here.
Great.
Which are great.
It's Italian wine you should be drinking with your Italian food.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Absolutely right. It's
excellent.
It works quite well for me. So where can folks find you guys?
You want to take this one?
Yeah.
Where can they find us?
Yes, online and in person.
In person, right
on
here.
Person, whatever.
In person.
What's the address for those that?
I got you.
Sorry about that. Should have been a little more specific. My bad.
Back.
Yeah. Mike's usually cutting chicken in the back of the Flying Burrito. So.
Yeah,
there you go. Perfect.
I'm stepping away from that.
Great. Perfect.
We're on 2036 North College.
Okay. All right. Great. And are you guys on Facebook?
Here. We're on Facebook.
Instagram. TikTok.
Not that.
We don't TikTok.
Nobody wants to see us dance or anything.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Maybe
awesome.
we should get on TikTok.
Hey, why not? You got kids, right?
Put one of the kids in charge of the TikTok account.
My God. Yeah.
Can you imagine during a rush them coming in while you're on the line?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much. This has been great.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time today.
I
know you're super busy, and appreciate you letting me barge in and doing this.
Thanks for coming. We had a good time.
We're glad you came.
My pleasure. You can find Flavors of Northwest Arkansas on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That's a true story. True story. Tip your servers. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.